What is editing? Editing is the process of placing together segments of footage, special effects, and sound in the post-production. The first films were just long, static shots. It wasn't until films like The Great Train Robbery where aspects important to films were first implemented. It had things like showing characters with the camera placed at various distances, and had shots edited together to establish context and continuity for the audience. Back then, editing was done when film was physically cut and pasted together. Today, most films are edited digitally on software like Adobe Premiere. There are many different types of editing, like montage editing, which shows a passage of time. It can be engaging and inspiring, or just cheesy. Soviet montages are slightly different, as described by Sergei Einstein, an idea that arises from a collision of independent shots. In-camera editing is quick because it saves editing time in post-production, but can take a lot of planning because of all the shots that have to be filmed in the right order, which can be time-consuming. Experimental editing is an alternative to seamless editing and was used by early surrealist filmmakers who wanted to make a carefree and nonconformist type of film. Most of them are not narrative, so you don't need to try and make sense out of them. Parallel editing is great for showing more than one thing happening in different locations. It's also known as cross-cutting. French New Wave editing happened in the late 1950s to the 1960s by people who were opposed to traditions and wanted to make new films that were about social and political issues at the time. French New Waves also had a low budget and focused a lot on mise-en-scène, and they were filmed in black and white and always used natural lighting. But classic Hollywood editing began to gain popularity in the 1920s. One of its traits were the 180-degree rule, where the camera can only move 180 degrees. The camera also needed to be kept eye level. Also in the classic Hollywood editing technique were the shot reverse shot, which is where a character is looking at somebody or something that can either be on or off screen. The camera is first facing them, then what they're looking at, then back at them again. It can go on for quite some time. There are lots of transitions that can be used in film editing. The most basic is the straight cut. Jump cuts are a style choice of the editor, and can use the straight cut a lot. But another type of transition is the dissolve, where the visibility of a picture is gradually changed into another. Similar to dissolve is the fade in/out, where the picture gradually turns into a different colour, which is often fading to black. The wipe transition replaces one shot with another by travelling into the frame from the side of the screen. If it comes from two sides of the screen, it's called the barn door wipe. The ISIS wipe is similar, coming from the centre of the frame. You'll find quite a lot of wipe transitions in Star Wars. Another type of transition is morphing. It's where an image or shape morphs into another through seamless transition. It's often used to show a person turning into somebody or something else. Recently, computer software has helped to make morphing transitions look more realistic. Editing is done to determine a film's plot, how much information is in it, how the audience feels about the characters and what's happening to them, and how they experience the pace of it all. Walter Murch thinks that to create meaning, editing must reflect 51% emotion, 23% story, so that the cuts advance the story properly, then 10% rhythm, so that it cuts at the moment where it is rhythmically interesting, 7% eye trace, so that the cut accommodates to the audience's interest, 5% two-dimensional plane to pay respect to the 180-degree rule, and 4% three-dimensional space.